Isn't the Bible full of contradictions? I hear this all the time from people outside the church, but even sometimes from people in the church. Back in 1999, I and another creation scientist, Dr. Russell Humphreys, actually participated in a debate with two scientists at Harvard University. During that debate, one of the scientists claimed that the Bible had contradictions in it. And then the example he gave was that the Bible says that a rabbit, a hare, chews its cud, and we know that's not true because it's not a ruminant animal, therefore the Bible has a contradiction in it. At that time, I must admit, that was one I was not as familiar with as some of the other claims of contradictions. And when I went back and checked on it, I realized, oh, there's a very simple answer to that. You see, ruminant animals like cows, for instance, chew their cud. They have 4 stomachs and they chew their food. It goes into the first stomach and then it's regurgitated and then they chew again, swallow it, and it goes into a different compartment and so on. Do rabbits do that? Well, no, they don't do that. It's interesting that in our English translations, it does say, and a rabbit, chews the cud, or a hare chews the cud. But that's just a way of saying something to try to summarize what the original language actually says. Because if you go back to the original Hebrew, it actually says a rabbit eats that which is brought forth again. That's the actual way of translating literally the Hebrew. Now, does a rabbit do that? Well, yes, it does. It actually eats its food and then it excretes these pellets. They then eat those pellets. Think about that, eating what you excreted again. But actually it's very important for those animals. There's an incredible design feature in this to supply the nutrients they need. And so then it's digested again. So that's why it's summarized as chew the cud. But again, the Bible is totally accurate because the original language says eats that which is brought forth again. And so it's important to have answers to these contradictions. It's interesting. In my desk, in my office, actually, this very office, I was sitting here one day and a group had asked to come and interview me, and it was for a documentary. We found out later they were actually a group that had put up a website pretending to be a documentary crew, so this was all fraudulently done. When I came into the office to be interviewed, I didn't know this, and no one knew this, but at the time they let in someone who wasn't cleared by security to be here. They'd been waiting outside. That was Bill Maher. He was trying to get footage for his movie Religulous to mock Christians. And the questions he kept asking me were about, carbon dating and creation evolution. I kept giving him answers. At one stage they got really mad and his producer yelled at me, "Do you have answers for everything?" And then he said to me, "So the Bible's full of contradictions." And, assuming I knew a lot about Bill Maher, these secularists, they don't have a lot of knowledge. They never really studied things. They just regurgitate what they're told a lot of times. I picked up this Bible. I put it in front of him and I said, "Which contradiction are you talking about?" He looked at me and then he just pushed the Bible aside and then went on to another question. Because a lot of these people just claim they're contradictions, but they don't even know what the contradictions are. Nonetheless, it's always important to have answers for these supposed contradictions. Hey, what does it mean to have a truly biblical worldview? Well, we first need the right foundation. So watch this video to learn how.